Lock up your want monsters, because today we're looking at the brand new colors that have been released by QoR. Now, for those of you who don't know, QoR watercolors, that is put out by the Golden Artist Company. And they do all the golden paints in acrylics, the heavy bodies, the what is it, the flow, there's a whole line of them. Anyways, Golden Company that puts out your well-known acrylic paint also has other things like QoR watercolors, which are one of my favorites. In addition, maybe you didn't know, they also have pan pastel. Pan pastels? That's QoR. Or excuse me, that's Golden. So yeah, there's like different things that maybe we don't realize is all part of Golden. Because they have the different names. But I am so excited to share with you the brand new colors, some of the brand new colors from QoR. We're going to look at which ones I got. They released 20 new colors. So we're going to look at which ones I got, which ones I didn't. I'll explain to you why I didn't, and why I'm so excited about these new colors. So everything looks like it is good. I'm assuming all is good. You guys can hear me just fine. All right. So let's go ahead and go right to the desk so we can dive in and start looking at these. This used to be the color chart for the QoR watercolors. Now, I should have everything linked in the description below that you might see here today. Hopefully, if I've done it right, everything is going to be linked there. Hello, Autumn Rain. Hi to George Pencil Art. Hi, James. Just trying to check in real quick to see. Dolphin Soul. Hello. W.A. Castle. Heather Bryant. Art of Joseph Fincham is here. Okay. So, I think I got everybody that I've seen so far. Welcome. Thank you for joining me. I'm really excited about that. Like, I have not swatched them. I have poured them into half pans and dried them down. I didn't swatch them when I even did that. I was like, no, I want to do it with everybody. And we're going to do it together live so that my first reaction is, you guys, my first impression is right here. I thought some of these colors are absolutely gorgeous. There's something special about most of the colors that I picked. So, yeah. All right. Hello, Melody. Okay. You ready? So, there's 20 new colors. First, let's talk about, so overall, and now I'm going to be looking at this. I got to put my glasses on. We have, before, they had Chinese white, titanium white. For iridescent colors, they had gold, pearl, and silver. These are really interesting to me, and they may make my wish list for colors to add, especially as we get on later in the year when I start doing more card making. I may, if we have time, I may paint a card today because, of course, I need one for Sunday. It is Mother's Day. So if I have extra time after we swatch all of these, I may just do a quick card. However, they've added to this line with like these metallic like colors. Now they have the iridescent copper, and that sounds really interesting. I really, all four of those are like on my short list of colors to add to my QoR collection. Now, in all of these colors were like their normal colors. They added some interference colors. Now, Daniel Smith has interference colors, and I have some of the Daniel Smith interference colors. However, I find that I rarely, if ever, use them. So when those colors came out, I was like, I'm going to wait, and I will see one of my fellow YouTubers swatch them before I make my decision whether I want to add them to my collection or not. And that's what I do. And so I'm hoping that you guys will appreciate looking at all of these colors, because Um, that's how I decide a lot of times. If there's a color I want to get, I will go seek it out and see somebody who's actually swatching it. And I want to have a good look at those swatches. So today we're not just doing tiny little squares like they would be for, say, my color chart, like one of these. They're not going to be those kind of things. We're going to do some swatches and get a good look at these colors. All right. So the interference colors they added, there was violet, red, blue, green, violet green shift, green orange shift, and green blue shift. So there were 7 interference colors. So 7 out of the 20, those 7 I did not get, plus the iridescent copper. So those 8 were the ones I didn't choose, and that's why I didn't choose them. The copper, just, it's with the metallics. I think I'm going to get those kind of as a little set together. They don't come as a set together, but I will order them, the 4 of them together at a later time. The 7 interference ones, again, I hardly ever, if ever, use the ones that I have from Daniel Smith, and I have quite a few of those. I just wasn't as enthused as I thought I would be when I first got them, so I did not order them from QoR. Okay, great question. Dolphin Soul says, what are interference colors? And I wish I had my original Daniel Smith swatch right here because I could show it to you. Interference colors are, they look one way, and especially if you use them on black paper, they really are like, wow. They'll look like a certain color, and then as you turn them, like, they kind of shift and change colors. Yeah, they're really interesting, and like I said, I thought I was going to love them, by Daniel Smith. And let me see if I have it, just a second. If I have it right here, I'll show you. Because I did have all my swatches. I'm working on organizing my pigment collection. Hopefully you guys can still hear me. Okay, you know what? I don't know where my swatch card is. However, I'll show you. I'll show you real quick. So the interference colors, okay, I did do them on this. So I don't know if you can see as I tip it, like this one is interference green. See how it's like, it goes green? I don't know if you can see it, pick it up, but it's like, it's green there. It's almost a reddish there. There's a few, like this is interference blue. They're really interesting, but they just weren't, I don't use them, like, ever, in my painting. So that's why I decided that when it came to the QoR's release, I was going to wait till I saw someone else swatch these before I spent money on them. Okay. So let me just check in the chat real quick before I tell you the 12 colors I did get. I'm so super excited about these. Okay, so we have got Tara popped in. Hi, Tara. Tara and Joseph are our moderators. And if you are not familiar with them, they both have channels here on YouTube. So I definitely encourage you to check out their channels. Their links are in the description below. Heather Bryant says, I'm looking at my QoR list right now, and I'm sure we'll be adding some of the new ones. That's excellent. Yeah, Cadmium Red Feral Kitten. Hello, thanks for joining us. New QoR colors. Yes. My favorite paint brand. This is one of my favorite paint brands too. Of course, you guys know I love Daniel Smith. But QoR is that, those are like my top 2. And I'm branching out. We're trying some new ones. So let's talk about what I did pick. Of the 12 colors that I picked, only one is not a single pigment color. that is what I am so excited about. QoR released all of these new colors. And aside from the specialty, like the interference and that iridescent copper, they released 11 of the 20 are single pigment colors. Let's look at what they are. So they're not in this chart. And if you click the link below, so if you see any that you like and you click the link below, it'll take you to Blick. And you can easily find them. One, Blick does them all alphabetically, but they say new. So here are the 12 that I chose. I did put them into half pans and dried them down. So we're going to get to see also how well, excuse me, or how much of these paints shrink when they dry. I filled all of these pans exactly the same. They were all full right to the top. Some of them dried down much more than others. So I'm going to be curious when we re-wet them, if that has any effect. If the ones that dried down more, if they're harder to re-wet or not. So none of these have been wet. We'll do that together. This was my very first experience with QoR. I love this set. You can get this at that same link for the QoR paints. This is there. So this was the introductory set of 12. I thought this had a great collection of colors in that you get Nickel Azo Yellow, Hansa Yellow Light, Quinacridone Gold Deep. Now, Quinacridone Gold Deep, let me just say, if you can get your hands on a set of this from QoR, that's the only place you're getting Quinacridone Gold Deep anymore. Quinacridone Gold Deep is P048. I am so sad. It's gone. I went to Blick because I was like, I need to order one more tube, like, because I just have the little tube that came in here, and I wanted a big tube before it was gone because they don't manufacture P048 anymore, and I absolutely love that color. Can't get it. It's gone. It is not in Blick's list to order anymore. So unless I can find it somewhere else, and now that I've told you all about it, I'm going to have to hurry afterwards and start looking because I'm putting it out there. You can't get Quinacridone Gold Deep. So if you get a set of the 12 introductory that still has that, I'm assuming they're going to be revamping this. So I'm going to be watching for this to go on sale over on like Amazon or something, or on Blick or somewhere, because they're going to have to revamp these tins because they don't do Quinacridone Gold Deep anymore. So keep an eye out for that. That's just kind of a little heads up there. I want it so. I wish I would have remembered to order the QoR. I got one in Daniel Smith. I absolutely got one in Daniel Smith because that's Quinacridone Burnt Orange, I think, in Daniel Smith. But anyways, P048. So it also has Pyrrole Red Light, Quinacridone Magenta, Permanent Alizarin Crimson, Phthalo Blue Green Shade, Ultramarine Blue, Viridian Green, and it is true Viridian. It is PG18. Yellow Ochre, Burnt Sienna, and it says Burnt Sienna Natural, Yellow Ochre Natural, and Payne's Gray. Now, Payne's Gray in this set, that one includes, let me just pop that open. And no, I don't use mine as like, I use it to store my tubes for now, but this may become a palette, although I don't know if my collection will fit in here anymore. It's grown. So the Payne's Gray that's here, regular Payne's Gray, that is PB15:3, PBK7, and PV19. And I'm telling you this because we're about to see that the one color that I got that was not a single pigment color was another Payne's Gray. I'm really excited to try that one. So I'm actually going to leave that out so we can talk about how they compare and are different. And this is my precious like Quinacridone Gold Deep. That's all I have left. That's it. And it's gone, it's gone. All of these tubes are getting low too, and I don't have larger tubes of them. So if I find another set that has this in it, you bet your butt. If I get that on sale, I'm grabbing it because I just love that color. And I will paint with it until it's gone. It's beautiful. I'll show it to you guys in a moment. But with this, you can do like half pans with like the magnets on the bottom. And I actually have some right here. So they look like that. And you can put those, fill them, and put them in here. And I don't have those like below because I wasn't planning on talking about them. But that's how I could fill this. This little cardboard piece would come out, and I could put my pans in here. And then I could mix in the wells. Or I could just squeeze color into these wells. There's 12 wells here. So you could just squeeze color into each of these spots and, you know, have this as extra mixing space. You could do it that way too. Whatever works for you. So that was my initial, this was my introduction to QoR. I absolutely fell in love. Lou had bought me this set for Christmas one year, and I fell in love with them. I love how they whoosh and take off, and I just love everything about them. So, all right, let's talk about the colors that I got. So first we'll start with the Payne's Gray. So Payne's Gray, you guys see how much that like has sunk in there? So this was one that really sunk down a little ways. I think, yeah, this one was one of the ones that sunk the most. It dried and sunk right down in there the most. And let me just see. I'm just making sure. I thought I saw a question go by. Oh, Autumn Rain says, I have 4 tubes of PO48 from Rembrandt. They make my favorite hue. Oh, I'm going to have to go look that one up and see how that is. I think I only have 2 tubes of Rembrandt. One is the dusk yellow. I think that's the one. Beautiful, beautiful black yellow color. Rob, that is not very nice, Rob. Oh my goodness. All right. Just making sure we are all good with chat. Okay. So the regular Payne's Gray that came in like the introductory set, again, that was PB15:3, PBK7, and PV19. The new Payne's Gray Violet is PV29, PBK7, and PB15:3. So the only thing different is the order that they're in, and instead of PV19, it is PV29. If I'm not mistaken, yeah, we're going to see PV29 again. So that's Payne's Gray. That's the new Payne's Gray Violet. How about if we just, as I tell you what they are, let's swatch them at the same time so that we're doing. Now let me just share with you another thing. This is my QoR collection, my collection of QoR tubes. This is definitely, my QoR collection has greatly grown, but it's not as big as my Daniel Smith collection. However, there's definitely not as many QoR colors as there are Daniel Smith colors either. Let's first talk about how the tubes have changed. So this is how the QoR tubes used to look. They are 11 ml tubes. So you can get 5 mLs or 11 ml. And there you go, right? So that's what they did look like. So now they have changed, and now the tubes look like this. This is the new design. I love it. And the reason being is because before, so this one is Indanthrone Blue. So Indanthrone Blue, you would have to turn it over and you would see the pigment number and its light fast rating, right? And Aquazol is the binder. On the new tubes, you have the name, the light fast rating, you have whether it is opaque or not, you have whether it is staining or not, and if it is a granulating paint, it will have a G on it. And then right below that is your pigment number. So this is PBR7. It is semi-opaque, staining, and granulating. It is light fast. Inside the little sun, you guys can see that, is the number 1. It is a light fast 1, which is QoR's best rating. So we have Brown Umber Natural. It is a Series 1 paint, light fast 1, that is ASTM, and semi-opaque, staining, granulating, PBR7. All of that information is right there. I love the new design on the tube. And then they give you, you know, like a color representation up here versus before it used to go down. Okay. Now that we got that squared away, thank you to Rob. Rob has shown up and just dropped some love in the chat. We have, if I can find where that just started. Heather says, I'm so glad they're changing the tube. I have to have a magnifying glass to see the print on the 5 ml. Yeah, the 5 ml, I mean, it was like, they're tiny. It's really, really tiny on there. But I do love the new layout on the tube. So Rob has gifted 20 memberships. Welcome everybody who is now a gifted and has been gifted a membership and is now a super fan. We have Pebbles, Jennifer. Let me just see if I can we have Pebbles and Jennifer and Anne, Alexander. I'm not even trying. I'm not doing it. I'm just going to put everybody up so that we can recognize everyone and say welcome. So glad you have joined us. And as we are going through these, if you have Discord and you connect over on Discord, you connect it to your YouTube, then you will have automatic access to our Discord server. I'm sorry, my brain is not multitasking very well right now. I'm trying to make sure that I don't miss any of the gifted memberships. Okay, and yes, I agree, James. Okay, there we go. So now, when you are a super fan like Autumn Rain, you'll see on the screen there's like a little sunshine next to Autumn's name. In the live chat, that is actually a palette and a paintbrush, and that just signifies that you are a channel member. So if you see anyone in the live chat and they have the little palette next to their name, that is their badge that says that they're a channel member. And thank you so much. You also have access to custom emotes in the chat that nobody else but channel members can use. So not only that, you get access to our Discord. And tomorrow, all of the creator members and above, I will be seeing you for live chat. There we go. I can't put them up on the screen because they don't show up right on my side. So yeah, Cadmium Red Feral Kitten says, new members, check out the new emotes to play with. And it's just posted them out there. That's fantastic. Thank you. All right. I am ready. Now I have to, the only thing I have to do is tape these down. And then we are going to start getting to look at these colors. And I have to open this up. Let me just share, and a huge shout out and thank you to the folks at Meet-In. My contact over there just sent me, I said I needed more masking, and boom, I have some masking. Some of these I think I'm going to put into, I'm going to do some Meet-In. I'm working on some giveaways. So stay tuned. If you're not yet subscribed to the channel, hit that subscribe button because I have some plans for some giveaways coming up over the next few months. I'm not going to open this all the way. I just need one. Some of that is going to be, if I can get those apart, there we go. So some of that is going to be some Meeden products. I have a bunch of ideas. Some of it is not going to be necessarily a Meeden product. I have a giveaway coming, and it is going to be involving a product by Karen Dosh. And so stay tuned. I'm not going to do any spoilers. Not going to let the cat out of the bag, as they say. But stay tuned for that. Definitely hit the subscribe button and turn on those notifications because, yeah, I want you to be aware. Here we go. So the Meeden paint, this is an acid-free masking. I've not tried this before. I thought today would be a perfect time. What better than a swatch card? Because it's not precious, right? If this tore my paper, I would much rather know now than say, oh, I don't know, when I was taking it off a piece of artwork. I am putting this right up to the edge that I've drawn because I'm going to flood this stuff with water because these are QoR watercolors and we want to know how are they going to move. That is what QoR is known for, and that is because of their Aquazell, the binder that they use, that makes them move the way that they do. So I'm just going to tape this paper off. It has a good tack to it. I'm hoping that means it's going to stay well to my board. I'm just using a, this is like a chalkboard that you can get at the Dollar Tree. It's black on both sides. These are usually over in the stationery section and they're hard. So when I throw water at this, they don't bend. And I like them for taping down my projects too. Okay. There we go. So the new QoR watercolors. These, we're going to do big old like 2-inch squares to swatch these out. I also have these because I am starting to catalog my pigment collection. I really want to, let me just get this light on, it's a little dark over there. I really want to get my collection cataloged because I've got a lot of pigments and I want to be able to bring you some comparisons on pigments because I talk about pigments a lot. I'm always sharing with you the pigment numbers on, you know, there's kind of a mixed bag out there. Artists on YouTube that are like, pigments aren't important, just, you know, go with the color. Or, I disagree. I think they are important. They are important in the sense that not every color that's called ultramarine blue is the same pigment. You would expect it to be PB29. That's ultramarine blue. No, not the case. As in, oh my gosh, what was it? Rob, I was just, oh, My Merry Blue. Their ultramarine blue, I just had run-in with this. Their ultramarine blue is like a pigment violet. It's not ultramarine blue deep is PB29. But if you didn't know that and you're just like, hey, I want ultramarine blue, and you order it and you spend all that money because My Merry Blue is not an inexpensive brand, and it comes in and you swatch it out and you're like, why is this purplish pink color? Why is this not ultramarine blue, like blue? That's why, because it's not the same pigment. So I do think that they are important. I also like in the Dr. P.H. Martin's Hydrus line, if you get ultramarine blue, in my opinion, that is not ultramarine blue. It's phthalo blue with some red thrown in, because why? I don't know. Why didn't they just use PB29? I don't know. I mean, it's still light fast. It would have been light fast if they used that, but I digress. Like, I won't go into that. That's just a lot to say that I believe that knowing your pigments is important in that aspect. Okay. So I have these little cards. This is what I'm going to be cataloging my pigment collection or my watercolor collection on. And for any of those of you who are like, oh my gosh, where do I get that? I have got stuff linked in the description for these. These are made by Waffle Flower. This is a stamp. Now, there's a couple versions. So I linked, there's a version that's already set up like this. You can get it, I think it's just under $10. And they already have this set up. But this stuff is in a different order. And I don't like the order that they have it in because they put the name next to the brand. And if I had to be able to write out some of the names of even these that I'm going to show you today, I'm not going to have enough room to even write that with QoR. But could you imagine if it was like My Mary Blue or Michael Harding or one of these other longer named brands? It's not going to fit on a line together. So anyways, I like the set that I have. That is the first one that is linked. It looks like this. Okay. You'll see I've used some of these. So it comes with these type of swatches. Or you can do like this. Or you can stamp squares. I have taken these right here. And then I put underneath them and this one. And created the order that I wanted to make up my stamp. You put them on an acrylic block like this. Most of the acrylic blocks have lines on them, just in case, you know, I'm sure we have some that I wasn't a stamper, so this was like new to me when I first got it. So the acrylic blocks usually have lines, so you can line everything up. So on my stamp, I have my mass tone, right? So that part right there is one piece. Underneath that, I put the brand and the pigment number because those will fit on a line together. Then I put the name. Now, I wish they would have given you an extra line that you could have put on here so you would have had a line to write on for the name, but they didn't. It's fine. I just left some space so that I'd be able to write in the name, and then I put the stamp part for underneath where it has like the granulation, the transparency, the staining, and light fast. So it has 5 stars on there. Not everything, like today, goes on a star rating. So what I did was, knowing that QoR, if it has light fast rating of 1, that is their best rating. So you'll see here, what I did was I just underlined all the stars and then put a number 1 next to it. Excuse me. Now there is another version of that Waffle Flower set that I just showed you. It is way more economical. I'm assuming it is like their knockoff of this. I think Waffle Flower was the original, as far as I know. But it's much more cost effective. They're all linked below, so you can check them out and decide which one is right for you, if this is something that you want to do. And I just took a 9x12 piece of my B watercolor paper, and I did this. They're 2 inches. I think they're 2 inches by 3 inches, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, 2 inches. Yeah, I did 2 inches by 3 inches so that I could maximize what I could get out of my piece of paper, and I'd have no waste. So that's what I did. And then these I just stick into the plastic sleeves for like business or baseball cards, and I'm going to have them in a book to refer to. So that's what I'm doing. I've just done, to kind of show you, like, this is how they end up looking. My Mary Blue colors, I just finished those. So the way that I did them is I drew a black line here. I just used one of my Funasuke brush pens by Tombow. You can also, they also have one that's a mono twin. I like this one as well. It has a fine nib and a bullet nib, so a 0.4 millimeter and a 0.8. I use this a lot too. I don't have those linked below, but You'll find them on Amazon. I do have a link to Amazon, so you can just click and search Tombow Mono Twin or the Tombow Food no Suke. I don't know. Can you spell that one? Like I always have to take a look again. Fudeno. Will that focus for me? There it goes. That's what it is. They come in a set. They're not too bad priced, and I love them. Those are my favorite pens for working with watercolor. So anyhow, on here, I just connected that line so that I would be able to see the opacity. And then in this next space, that's where I would glaze. And then over here, that's where I did some lifting to see how they would go. And so there we go. This is the start of my cataloging my pigment collection. Once I have that cataloged, if that is something that is of interest to you, definitely let me know in the comment section, and I can certainly bring that to you on a video. And Heather says she has the other set of the stamp. I'm not sure which one, but you'll have to share that with me over on Discord, Heather, because I'm very curious to see which one you have. So what paper did you use for the swatch stamp? I used my Bee Inspired watercolor paper. So yeah, you can, if you want to use cotton paper, use cotton paper. I just use this. It's just for me to see the color. I know they can vary. The color can vary slightly when you go from like a cellulose paper, like the Bee Inspired paper, to the cotton paper. I'm not too worried about it. I just want to get a general idea of it. So yes, pretty sure that answers your question, James. And I have a link to, it's not what I'm using, but it is what I refill this pad with, and you can get the actual pad. I just didn't see buying another stamp pad when I already had one. So my stamp pad is this, but I refill it with the Ranger Archival jet black ink, and I have that linked below. So I have to order myself a new refill thing, but there you go. There's all that. So today we are doing these. We're going to do them one at a time. I also have here my little Meeden 12 well. I had to laugh. Rob just showed me pictures of this before the stream over on Discord, and I was like, yeah, that's a cute little palette. So this is just a little 12 well ceramic palette by Meeden. You see the size there. The wells are not super deep. You can mix on this space, and you can fill them on here. So if you didn't have QoR and you were getting these colors and you just needed something, maybe this would be something that would be of interest to you. I have it today because when I get the colors, if I have extra, I'm just going to, on my brush or what have you, I'm just going to put them in here because I will use them up. And then when I'm making with the cards, if I need the colors, they're there. Okay. We've done plenty of talking. We need to swatch us some colors. Today I'm using, what am I grabbing? My size 8 round velvet touch. Right there. These are linked in the description below, and up here where you can't see it with my dirty water, I have my Meeden what was it, brush wash? I think that's what they call it, a brush wash. So, and I have paint pucks in mine. Those are also linked below. I absolutely love them because you see how dirty the dirty water is. It's about to get a whole lot dirtier. You won't be able to see that red paint puck by the time I'm done. And the paint pucks definitely make a huge difference. My water lasts so much longer between changes by having those in there. Okay. So these are dry. So let's see how well they re-wet. Now the brown Umber Natural, I already gave you all the information like ages ago. But you see here, that one did not dry down and sink. It did not sink down in there. So hello, Jacqueline Turbot. I am glad you are here. This one's still a little soft because this is one of the ones that I was waiting on forever. I ordered these back in March, and this color and this yellow were back ordered, and it took so long for them to arrive. So this might dry down more. I'm not sure, because it's still, I can press on that and it would indent. So it may still. I'll have to revisit that next time we look at these colors. But let's start with our brown umber. So I'm going to do my card, kind of show you how I use these cards. So my mask tone goes up here. Looks exactly like I would expect from a brown umber. It's PBR 7. Now, QoR says this color is granulating. I'm also not expecting to see a ton of that in... I'm not expecting to see a ton of that on this little card. Some might happen. But they say it is semi-opaque and semi-staining. So you see, I'm just gonna like get extra out over there. It's not quite what I was wanting. Ooh, we're gonna see how these take off in a moment when we do our bigger swatches. And we'll come back and do some lifting. I don't know that I'll glaze over them today, but let's see. I will try to set them off over here. You guys can't see it. It's kind of off the camera, but I think you're going to be more interested in this. I think. I could be wrong. Okay. What I should do is just set them in here. Like, I know that that's wet. I'm just going to set them on my palette. There was not that much in there. I'm just going to set them in there. Okay. Next up, we have the next new color is this guy. And this is Naples Yellow Deep. I was excited about this one because this is a Naples Yellow. And it's a single pigment. So yes, it's Naples Yellow Deep. It is light fast rating of 1. Let me just spoiler alert. These are all a light fast rating of 1. So if you're someone who is concerned about light fastness in your paint, all of the new QoR colors are all light fast 1. So they are all top light fast, excellent rating. Feel free to use them all. Links in the description below. So it is semi-opaque, semi-staining. And this is PBR 24. I think this is my first PBR 24. So I'm excited to see this because I haven't seen it yet. And did you see the whoosh on that PBR 7? How am I forgetting? We didn't do it yet. It did. It took off. And it was an earth pigment. And the earth ones don't usually come alive as well as others. And we may see that others come alive much better, but all right. So I've wet my square. Hi, Cat's Art Picks. All right, here we go. You ready? And I'm going to get plenty of this because it also says there's granulation. So I want to see. Hey, it's taken off a little bit. We're getting a little bit going there. All right, so we're going to see how well that granulates. James, I'm not going to post that up on the screen. We'll just protect your, right? Give you that anonymity. All right, now, and I'm looking and I see that I've got a little bit of that water seeped up here. I'm really going to be curious when we remove this tape. Remember, I put lots of water down here because I also want to see how this Meeden tape does. All right, so next up we have Naples Yellow Deep. So Naples Yellow Deep. This one you can see how it dried out. It just shrunk. It shrunk a little bit. Not too bad. Not too bad. I could certainly top that up, but for a pan that started full to the top, it's not too bad now. So let's do its mass tone. And they say this is semi-opaque. Again, it's PBR, so a brown, pigment brown. PBR 24. So there we go. And yeah, I would agree. It's semi-opaque. We can still see that black line through that. Not clearly, but we can still see it. So get that diluted version of that wash. Oop, I need a little bit more. So if I come back to see how they lift, I need to have more in that beginning part. And that is just traveling away. Okay. An alternate identity crisis on. Yeah, you do. Okay, I'm gonna set that one aside. But look at that. That is a pretty. That I like that. And look at how now that it's starting to dry. Look at we're starting to see that black line coming through even more. All right, wet our square. Let's look at this. Let's look at a big swatch. Does it whoosh? Does it take off? I debated whether I should put some salt on these big swatches and see, like, do they react with the salt? How do they react with the salt? I might. I've got it sitting salt sitting right here. There's always salt sitting on my desk. All right, here we go. Naples Yellow Deep, PBR 24. I love to just put it down and see, like, where is it going to start to go at first before I go moving it all around. So definitely it's traveling. It's moving a little bit. Now this PBR 24 is not one that they do not say that this one is granulating. So we'll see how that looks. Laura Isabel Gonzalez Art says, now what does the salt do? Well, I guess, everyone, we're going to have to show Laura what salt does. So I have the salt here. So we will put some salt just to see which ones might react to it. I don't know that this, there's a little bit of dampness right here. I don't know that that one's going to do anything. It's probably too late to put that salt on. But we will put some, we'll put some on the other squares just for fun, because if you've not experienced salt before, we have to show you. All right. And let me just show you guys how I label my pans. So what I like to do is I put the, let me get that to focus. So I put the color name on one end, and I put the brand, the pigment, its light fastness, and the opacity and staining information. And if it was granulating, there'd be a G on there. So I put that on there as well. Oh, please let me know if that's the case, because I have this going in ultra low latency today, which I normally don't do. Normally I do like a medium. So if anybody else has any issues, let me know, because I won't do that in the future. As far as how smooth the stream goes. No problems here. Okay. So next color, are you guys ready? Because this one's a tongue twister. It is, let's see if I can get it out. Isoine Dolinone Yellow. Did I say it right? I have no idea, but that is how it's being pronounced on this channel. It's ISO. It is ISO yellow. Okay, that's what we're going to go with. And it is PY 110. This is, again, light fast rating of 1, semi-opaque, semi-staining, PY Pigment Yellow 110. Okay, thank you. Yeah, thanks, everybody. Okay. So, Cat's Art Pick says, who has the best half pans in town? Well, right now it's me, because they're brand new and they're core. But I don't think that's what you were asking. Who has the best half pans? Is that what you're asking me? I don't know, because I usually buy 2 paint and make my own half pans. So there's that. All right, I need to wet this. So this one is still, you see that? It's still quite full, almost right to the top. Not a lot of shrinkage on this one. Now this is also the one that I just poured a few days ago. And yes, I do expect colors to dry down within a few days, because here in the studio, that happens. Okay, so Cat's Art Pick says yes. I was wondering which ones to purchase. Honestly, Cat's Art Picks, my best recommendation is, if you have a brand, you know, one of the legacy brands, if you're like getting into professional watercolors and you have a brand that you like or you're starting to collect, I would say stick with that brand. Like, I know Daniel Smith has half pans. I have some of their half pans. They re-wet wonderfully. I still think Daniel Smith sticks are absolutely the best value for your money. But QoR makes some half pans. There are some sets, and actually right now I've shared, you can get some of these sets. I will put a link. I don't know if they still are a deal. I just got a set. In fact, oh my goodness, I don't know where it went to. It was if you guys can see my side table over here, it's chaos. There it is. They sent me the wrong one. I went for some of those shimmery colors, and that's not what they sent me. They sent me the intensity set. So I have to send this one back. Maybe I might just keep it. But I'll share this with you guys at another time. However, they make these mini sets. Otherwise, you got to get tubes. And really, if you're collecting, I think you've said you're doing Daniel Smith, that you just got some Daniel Smith. Honestly, my best recommendation would be to stick with Daniel Smith and really give the paints a go and see how you like them. After you paint with them for a while, you're going to get used to them. If you go from one brand to the other, yes, it's fun. There's nothing wrong with that, and you do you. That's fine. But I think if you're just getting into professional watercolors, spending some time with a brand, getting a feel for how they move, how they work, your painting is going to improve with them. You're going to enjoy them, and I mean, or not, and then you wouldn't buy any more. But I mean, that would be my best recommendation. But if you're going with Daniel Smith, if Daniel Smith offers it in a stick, and I've shown it before, I cut some of my sticks so that they, oh my gosh, look at that color. How gorgeous is that yellow? So you see, it definitely, I think we can get it really light, a nice warm yellow, like orangey yellow. Sunflowers. I'm seeing sunflowers, just wanting to be painted with that. But you can take their sticks and you can cut them down and put them in like a half pan or a full pan. This is my Daniel Smith palette that I've outgrown. And you'll see I've got an extra one sitting up here because, well, there's not enough room. But here, that's a stick that I've cut and put into a half pan. That's a stick. That's a stick. That's a stick. That's a stick. These are sticks. And these are sticks. These are the most pigmented version of the Daniel Smith paints. I've shown recently how you use that. Just put some water on your palette and work your stick like this, and you'll have a puddle of the color that you want. The more you swirl your stick in there, the more intense the color is going to get. But they work the same right here as if you using them like a dried half pan. The way that they were intended was to hold them and paint directly from with your brush. They were intended to be like held like this and grab the paint and then paint with them. It was like a half pan in your hand or a pan in your hand. That's the way that they refer to them. The paint, John Cogley, the owner of Daniel Smith, has said that it is the exact same paint in the sticks, in the tubes, and in the half pans. It is just a matter of how much water is in them. Tubes have the most water, followed by pans, followed by sticks having the least. It's mostly the pigment, but it's the same binder. So, do with that as you will. Sticks are all just under $10. I can get 5 half pans out of one stick. I can't necessarily get 5 full half pans out of a 15 ml tube. And the price is definitely, it's definitely worth the cost. So there you go. Do with that as you will. Now we're going to jump back to QoR. The ISO Yellow PY 110. I'm seeing it move a little bit. We got a little bit of movement there. This is definitely not one of our one that's going to take off and run away on us, but it has moved. I mean, it's all the way out here. My paper's buckling as I expected it would. Oh, look at that. And what I'm going to try to do with this swatch is see if we can't pull that out, really dilute, and see how light does this yellow get for us. into that. Such a gorgeous yellow. Okay. And of course, we need some salt. I'm just going to sprinkle it right on. That was a lot of bit of salt, but that's fine. Oh, you are welcome. You are welcome. I am glad that it helps. What will you store your swatch cards in? Maybe an index card box? No. So, George, these, I'm assuming that's what you're talking about, my swatch cards. I'm going to get a 3-ring binder, and I think I have them sitting right here. Okay, thought I had them sitting right here. They were sitting right there, but they've run away on me. Right here. I am putting them, whoa, in these. So they're like baseball card sleeves. They'll go into a binder. This will slide right down into the pockets. So there are 9 pockets on the sheet. And yeah, they're just going to slide in like that. So I could have made my cards bigger. I didn't, just because I was being frugal and getting the most out of one piece of paper without having any waste. If I would have done my cards 2.5 inches by 3.5 inches, they would have fit. I did 2 by 3 just so that I could get more, like I said, more cards out of one sheet of watercolor paper. So that's what I'm doing. That's what I'm going to be doing with them. And I'm not sure, Laura, if you are starting to see what salt does, but you're definitely going to see it on a darker color. So, okay. This one for sure should absolutely show you like the wow factor. I did not link those sleeves, but I will go back and I will link them after the stream. I'll put the link to the ones that I have, because there was quite a few in there. And this was a really, if I recall, when I got it, it was a really good price. And this is a 36 pack of 9, 9, so 9 times 36. I'm not doing the math, but there you go. Is it possible to zoom in? Absolutely. Let's zoom you in on, let me see. Sorry for the movement. How's that? You're not seeing anything else that's on the desk, but I don't think that is really important. Is that better? Autumn had asked if we could zoom in. And Rob says, then you can reorder them based on the order of your palette. Yeah. There are so many reasons, and I will talk about it. I will do a video when I have more of my collection going, and we're going to talk about it, and I'm going to share it with you in stages. So I'll definitely share with you my plan and what my thought process is with those. I keep getting paint on because they're not in a palette. All right, so next up we have Pyrrole Orange. And if you guys recall Monday's mix, PO73 was one of our colors. And I had to go to my Rosa gallery to get PO73, which I was not thrilled about. And then right after I did that, I received, and I didn't even realize I had PO73 in the new core colors just sitting over there on the shelf waiting for this video. Or I might have been tempted to use it ahead of time, but I didn't. But right after that, I got PO73 from Winsor & Newton Professional, and I have it in core. So I guess I'm growing my collection of this pigment. Look at that in its mass tone. So beautiful. Hi, Lily. I'm glad you made it. You couldn't remember how to find the link? Hit subscribe, ring that bell, and YouTube will let you know every time I go live. All right. I am loving these colors. Oh my gosh, I'm loving these colors so far. I am really curious to see if this is going to be one that takes off when we get it in a wet wash. Just wetting that. Oh, it definitely moved a bit there. I might get some blooming on this card because I did drop in a bit of water. Let's see if I can't take some of the extra water out. There we go. So there is the Pyrrole Orange, PO73. It is semi-opaque. It is definitely staining. Definitely staining. Did we? Well, my goodness. Okay, so, oh, we're going to do the wet swatch in just a moment. Let me just take a moment to recognize and welcome. Thank you so much, Rob. So Rob has gifted 10 memberships. And again, I don't want to butcher anybody's names. I'm just going to pop this up, and I'm letting you know that if you have your YouTube account connected to your Discord account, YouTube will automatically put you into our Discord server. And welcome, because we're happy to have you over there. That is definitely where I am most active. You are definitely able to reach me that way and get a personal connection over there. There we go. Okay, thank you so much, Rob. I just wanted to take a moment and recognize and welcome all of our new channel members that have received a membership. And if you are gifted a membership and you join us over on Discord and you have as much fun as we do over there, and you would like to continue your membership, all you have to do is visit my channel, or in the link of any of the videos is how you can join, and you just click on it. It's only Superfans. It's only $2.99 a month, and that gives you access to Discord. It gives you access to, are you guys ready for this one? It gives you access to our weekly game where we, ooh, look at that, where we guess the mix. I post a Monday mix video here. You guessed it, on Mondays. And on Sundays, I post a picture of that mix for you to try to guess what pigments I use to create it. If you are the first person to correctly guess the mix by naming not only the color names, but also the pigments that I have used, you get entered. There's our salt. You get entered into our contest that we have going on. I am doing a giveaway. It'll be in December, but as long as you are a channel member, when you win, it counts. Even if you're not still a channel member in December, your entries still count. So come over and play, get entries. I'm going to be giving away a prize pack, and you are playing for the title of Mixmaster 2024. Who is going to get it? We will see. But every time you are the first person to accurately guess the mix, you get entered. That's it. That's all you have to do. Play the game. Hang out. Have fun with us. That's it. Next color is Disazo Scarlet. So again, just like I do my other stuff, I work my way like serpentine fashion. I do that in my palettes as well. I think it's just because my swatch sheets look prettier to me. I don't know. It's just the way I go. It's just how my brain works. So you're going to see me work back this way. All right, Disazo Scarlet. This is PR 242, and it is semi-opaque. and definitely staining. I'll tell you, by the end of today, I'll have like these colors all over me. All right, so it's mass tone. It's beautiful, beautiful red. And this is almost looks like it would be almost like a neutral red. I mean, it's not leaning heavily one way or the other. I mean, if I put it next to something else, it might look a little bit warmer. This might be a nice neutral red. So Disazo Scarlet, PR 242. I don't think I have another 242. I forgot to show you how this one dried down. It shrunk a little bit. Not too bad. It is re-wetting easily. Ugh, look at that. Beautiful. Autumn says odd name for that red. I wait till you hear. I mean, we've got some odd ones. Isoin Dolanone. I don't know. I don't know. ISO yellow. Oh my gosh. I'm gonna have to start a reel with all the bloopers and odd sayings and things. Curious to see how this one is going to move in our wet wash. There is our Disazo Scarlet. I'm using my Princeton Neptune 1-inch modeler to put down our washes. I love this little brush. I do have a link to the Neptune brushes in the description below, as I do to the Velvet Touches also. I should turn that. The way I'm setting that up is not going to be accurate. Look at that one. That one moves around a bit. We're still waiting for that one that's going to have everybody go, oh, ooh. All right, we got plenty of water in this wash, that's for sure. I'm going to take a moment and fix that palette. I want it to be lined up with this. I have it turned sideways. You guys can't see it, it's off screen, but I have it turned sideways. All right, a little bit of salt. A little bit of salt. I think it was a lot of bit of salt. Right. For anybody that might be superstitious, we'll just throw that over there. Oh my gosh. Tara says, yeah, join in on the fun and see if you can guess it before Rob does. He is super quick. I don't know. I think James gives them a run. And see, I was talking about this. I want to put these so that it's 4 like my palette is. That's what I was doing. Lily, I am naming them all as I go. I think I might have forgotten to say that one, but yes, I didn't write it on the thing. It is Lightfast 1, which is QoR's excellent rating. That is the highest rating with QoR. All of these colors. So all 12, in fact, because even the Payne's Gray is Lightfast 1. They are all Lightfast. Look at that. Is Laura still with us? Is Laura watching? this one is definitely going to have some really cool salt effect from that color. I'm seeing it in the Pyrrole orange too, where our wash was a little wetter over here. Naples yellow is giving a reaction. The brown umber, I'll have to do that one again on a separate piece of paper because, well, it wasn't, it was already too dry. So salt is definitely something you have to do while it's wet. Get a little of our brown umber. Okay. Lightly salted. And I'm just going to set that aside. We'll see how that one does. There we go. All right, carrying on. Next up, we have another tongue twister. And I'll say this is another one that was like one of those that shrunk down the most. Right there. So this is benzimidazolone. Yes, benzimidazolone. Burnt orange. Benzy burnt orange. That's what this one is. And it is transparent, staining, and it is also Light Fast 1. Joseph says my phone is always like, guess the Monday mix, but it's sometime on Tuesday afternoon. I post it every Sunday. So what you guys know when I get up on Sunday, because all of a sudden, once I have my coffee in my hand and I go sit down to enjoy my coffee, that's usually when I'm grabbing the picture and popping into Discord to say hi to everyone and sharing the mix for everybody to see it. So I post it on Sunday. Everybody plays Guess the Mix over there, and you have until the video drops on 2 o'clock Monday to guess that mix. And I'm usually posting, like, usually in that just over 24 hours leading up to it. Like, I'll post the picture, and I'll wait, and then a little bit later, I'll post maybe another image of the mix and stuff like that to kind of help you guys try to figure it out. So, yeah. All right. Ooh, wow. So this one is PBR25. Now, I'm going to put this mass tone down kind of thick because I want to know PBR25, so Pigment Brown 25. This is one that is known, at least it's known to me, and other brands to get shiny in its mass tone. So I'm just going to really put this in here because I want to see when this dries, is it shiny? PBR 25 definitely can be shiny. Here we go. But when it's slightly diluted, oh my goodness, look at that color. Oh, look at that. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous brown. And they are calling it burnt orange. I would agree. It's just beautiful. Cadmium Red Feral Kitten says, I am 1 day early and I still wouldn't get it in time. I definitely encourage everybody, if there's a convenience color that you've seen that you absolutely have loved, you've seen it swatched, maybe you have it, but you want to know how to mix it. Drop me a comment and let me know. Always, you can drop me a comment on the Monday mix, and I write those down for future possible mixes. Look at that color. Isn't that gorgeous? That is so pretty. I have a few. I'm getting this like collection of Pigment Brown 25s. I'm definitely going to be comparing them. All right, let's get a look at this one. Let's see it big. This one is gorgeous. All right. Here we go. It's moving. Look at that. Ugh. Are you guys fans of QoR? I love QoR. And I love QoR for that reason. Like, I love the watercolors that take off and whoosh and they move, and sometimes I like to just throw paint at paper and watch how it moves, see how it interacts with other colors. What colors are bullies? You know, there are some bullies out there. There are definitely some pigments that will bully other colors. And if you're like, what do I mean? You put it down and that pigment, as soon as it gets near another one, it just pushes it right away and like really takes control. George says, to me, it looks like a purple brown. No, that I do not see any purple. That is all warm. I'm not sure how it's looking on the screen right now, but you see here, like here was the first swatch with mass tone, and then you see it here. And let's get our salt in there while this is still wet to see what kind of reactions we might get out of that. And also, Laura, just to let Laura know who asked about the salt, at different times, you get different effects. So when it's really wet, I'm going to get more of an effect from my salt. As it starts to dry, I'm going to get less and less and less effect until eventually I'm not going to get any effect at all. So there we go. Tara says, it looks just like the dragon's blood. Well, Tara, funny you should mention that. Tara's talking about dragon's blood, and I know this because we've had this discussion over on Discord. Tara's talking about the dragon's blood from My Merry Blue. That's dragon's blood from My Merry Blue, and then that is benzimidazolone burnt orange. My Merry Blue wins for the name, but they are both PBR 25. So that's why it looks like dragon's blood, because it's the same pigment. So yeah, there you go. There is a perfect example why I talk about pigments are important, because this is the same color, but you wouldn't know that it's the same color because it's dragon's blood. And you go, oh, well, I wish QoR made dragon's blood. Well, QoR does make dragon's blood. They just call it benzy burnt orange. So knowing that pigment will help you know that you have or don't have the same actual color. Hue, pigment, there's so many different things, and it means like so much. That's why it's important to know your pigments, in my opinion. So agree or disagree, it's fine. But I think it's important to know them, and you know, I just geek out over them. The pigments are wonderful. Next up, we have this one. You might know it by other names as well. This is PR 179. QoR is calling it Perylene Crimson. You might know it by Perylene Maroon. Other brands have it and it's called Perylene Maroon. But QoR says no, it's Perylene Crimson. And this one did not hardly shrink at all. Like that one is still, look how full that one is, like right up to the top. But this is dry. So there we go. I love the Perylines. If you guys have not tried Perylene colors, oh, definitely recommend. Perylene green, fun fact, not a green, is one of my favorites. And I say not a green because Perylene green is actually PBK 31. Now that I wanted to say it, my brain's going, is it 31? Pretty sure. PBK 31. It's a pigment black, regardless. And it is a black that looks green when you dilute it. It's a gorgeous color. It's one of my favorites. Look at that mass tone. Gorgeous. So we have Perylene Crimson. And Perylene Crimson is transparent. It is staining. It is not granulating. Imagine if that was granulating. Ooh. I just love granulating colors. All right, you guys ready to see? Let's see if this one takes off when we get water to touch it. That's a pretty color. I like all the colors. I think I say that on every color. I'm like, oh, that's a gorgeous color. Ooh, I like that color. I like all the colors. There we go. That is our PR 179. I'm like running out of room over here. Kind of setting them on top of each other. All right, let's see this one in a nice wet wash. And Lily says, burnt orange, rusty fox color is my favorite color. I love it. Definitely that PBR 25, but PO 48. Oh, that's what I think of when I think of rusty fox color. That I think of PO 48, which I'm so sad that they're not manufacturing that pigment anymore. It's such a beautiful pigment. I hate that we're like in the art world. I think we're limited by like, it's like the automotive industry and colors and pigments they choose. Because trust me, if Ford was making a car that they wanted painted PO 48, Rusty Fox, that's what we're going to call it now, we would still have that pigment because it would be manufactured, but they're not manufacturing it anymore. And that's why we don't have it, because the art industry does not do enough volume to justify only manufacturing pigments for the art industry specifically. And that's sad. Sad because it's just a gorgeous pigment that I'm so sorry to see that it's not going to be around anymore. I mean, I understand sometimes that like natural pigments, like the resources aren't there, and for that reason, but if it's a manufactured pigment, and I think PO 48 was a manufactured pigment, if I'm, it was like a synthetic, it wasn't an earth pigment or something like that. There we go. Sea Phoenix says, why is there such a drying shift with the Perylene colors? I don't know. I wish I had that answer for you. Some colors definitely shift more than others. So there's our salt. We'll see how that reacts. Look at how our, benzimidazolone burnt orange, again, benzy burnt orange, that's just what I want to call it from now on. Benzimidazolone. No, it's benzimidazolone There is no diaz. It's dazalone. So benzimidazolone, burnt orange. Yeah, I'm just all the benzo whatevers. We're just gonna call them benzies from now on. Look at that like effect. It's gorgeous. I like it. All right, we are like over halfway there. We're almost 2/3 of the way through. Hi, Snow. Okay, this one is PV29. If you remember, our new Payne's Gray Violet that we're going to see at the end, that has PV29 is its first pigment. So we have the PV29, PBK7, and PB15:3, which is 15:3 is phthalo blue green shade. This is Perylene Violet, PV29, Perylene Violet. And that one shrunk down a little bit, not as much as the Payne's Gray and the Benzie Burnt Orange. So, but that was one of the ones that did shrink down more. All right. Let's see this in its mass tone. Perylene Violet, PV29. I don't know if I have another PV29, which is another reason that I'm starting to catalog my pigments. As I started doing the Monday mixes, I realized, you know, when I'm looking to do a convenience color and it says that there's a whatever pigment is in it, I really need to know all the different versions I have of that, because just knowing the pigment sometimes is not enough. You need to know the pigment, and then you need to know which hue of that pigment, because sometimes, like, look at PR 101. There are so many different hues from PR 101, depending on how they treat it. If they heat it or they don't heat it, how much do they heat it? Like, all of these things have an impact on what PR 101 looks like. And so if you just see PR 101 as one of the pigments in a mix that you're trying to, ooh, look at that when it is dilute. Look at that color. This is such a gorgeous, like, so its diluted form looks to me almost like an aubergine or like an eggplant, like a diluted eggplant color. Ooh, this is really pretty. See, I told you, I say that about all the I say that to all the pigments. I just like could hear. I bet you say that to all the girls. All right, I'm gonna leave that corner like that so I can see what it looks like dilute. That is pretty. Look at gorgeous. Let's get a big swatch of that. And we'll see. I haven't really been paying attention, like with the color shift. Have we had much of a color shift with the Perylene Crimson? All right, that is like super wet. That's okay. That's QoR. Look at that. I mean, how fun would that be? Ugh, super wet wash. I'm going to be playing with these. Some spontaneous landscapes with these. If you guys are familiar with the Mind of Watercolor channel, if you're not, oh my gosh, you have got to go check Steve out, Steve Mitchell, who does the Mind of Watercolor channel here on YouTube. His spontaneous landscapes, I am just like in awe. I took a class. He did a class with Etcher years ago. It was like when the height of the pandemic was going on, and um ugh, I took that class because I was like, I've got to learn how he does these. And I learned how he does them. I still have yet to like master that. Those are the next happy little trees I need to figure out how to do. His spontaneous landscapes are absolutely gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. I think I was talking with James over in Steve's comments the other day. He just recently put out another one, and I'm like, oh my gosh, just beautiful. So okay, see Phoenix is watching. I'm like, you're gonna watch because I'm not watching too well. Because this is almost dry. And says, I'm really surprised that there hasn't been much of a drying shift with these Perylines, but of course it is a golden product. It is golden. The Golden Artist Company, they put out QoR. QoR is their paint. It's their watercolor. And they're absolutely gorgeous. This one dried down. Look at this one. Like glass. Look at that pan. Like this one could have, looks like it came from the manufacturer. It didn't. I poured this one. I'm so proud. I poured this one myself. So this color is Cadmium Purple. PR 108. I cannot wait to see this one in a big wet swatch because Cadmium Purple is supposed to be granulating, semi-opaque, semi-staining. I'm hoping I love this color. It's granulating. I love granulating colors, so I cannot wait to see what this one looks like. Let's, excuse me, let's get that. Reactivating. Oh my gosh, I hope you guys cannot hear the neighbor's dog. Somebody must have pulled in over there because it's going off. Barking like crazy. All right. Ooh, look at that. In its mass tone, this is like, the red is so deep, like blood red. This is beautiful. Again, there I go. There I go again. But it really is. Look at that. Okay, so Cadmium Purple, PR 108. Cadmiums usually are granulating. Cadmiums, cobalts, some of our earth pigments. Those are ones that tend to granulate. I feel like I'm leaving somebody out, and as far as types of pigments that also granulate, I have to show you guys my dirty water afterwards. I'll bring it back in and show you, which is why I love my Meet and Rinse Well with the paint pucks in them. Yeah. I don't know. We'll have to see how that dries. Right now, I would say that is opaque, not semi-opaque, but we'll see as it starts to dry if that black line comes back up through. You see, you can barely see it there. Let's look at that in a big swatch. Again, light fast is 1. This has an excellent light fast rating. All of these are excellent. And look at this palette so far. Imagine that, like that Perylene violet with and that Pyrrole orange, how those would play off each other. These are really, I'm liking it. I am loving the new colors. You don't know how hard it was to wait to swatch these. was like, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to wait. That just kind of take off and move. I just love watching them move. But when I put it down, it pushes the water. It pushes everything. See how it's kind of now it's pulling it back this way. Now I'm going to get more water because I want to see this. I'm going to make this a really wet wash because if you want to see granulation, you need a wet wash. Okay, and while this is nice and wet, I'm going to put the salt down. There we go. I have them turned. I'm just trying to get all the names facing me. I didn't realize I was putting some in all different directions. All right. Next is Ultramarine Pink Dark, and that is PV15. So, if I'm not mistaken, that's the one. It was my Merry Blue. But I told you guys, again, about knowing your names. Okay, no, it's not. Yeah, PV15. So My Merry Blue calls PV15 Ultramarine Blue. It's not. It's not Ultramarine Blue. Ultramarine Blue is PB29, but they're calling this Ultramarine Blue, and their PB29 they call Ultramarine Blue Deep. So we're going to compare the My Merry Blue PV15 to the new QoR Ultramarine Pink Dark. And we look at the swatch here, it looks much pinker than this. This is definitely leaning more purple blue than pink. So I'm really curious to see how this one looks. I'm going to leave the My Merry Blue swatch over here for a second. All right. My nose is itching. So QoR Ultramarine Pink Dark. Yes, I do. Yes, Tara, you're correct. James, I will go back to your question in just a moment. Look at the difference. And this is why I say the other side of that, why it's important to know your pigments. The other side of that coin, I don't know. This is another reason why I say it is important to know, because PV15, we're going to look at these two side by side in a moment. If I have a convenience color, Schmincke is famous for this because they're super granulating colors. It's only super granulating because it has two colors that granulate in the mix. So each mix contains at least two colors that granulate, and they call that super granulating. There's nothing more or less granulating about any of the individual pigments. It's just the fact that the colors have multiple granulating pigments in them. But if one of the Schmincke colors, for example, said that it had PV15 in the mix, and I've seen artists out there, especially when the new sets come out from Schmincke for the super granulating colors. And I've seen artists that go, here are the pigments that are in them. As long as you know the pigment numbers, you can mix your own. You just have to go buy those pigments and you can mix them. No, you can't. And I will elaborate on that. If it says PV15 is one of the colors in that mix, and let's just say it's like PBK11 and PV15. Those are your colors. Those are both granulators. One's a granulating black and one is a granulating violet. These are going to make two very different mixes. They're both PV15, so according to some, as long as you know it's PV15 and you buy PV15, you can make that mix. No, you can't. You have to know which hue of that PV15 is being used. So your best bet is if you're buying it from Schmincke. But the whole point is people are not wanting to pay Schmincke prices, and so they're wanting to get, maybe if they have the pigment in their stash already, to be able to mix those colors. That's why I started the Monday Mix, because we look at that. And I will tell you the brand that I'm using to mix so that you know if you want to mix it, if you have this brand color pigment and you mix them together, this is what you can get. So it is definitely important. Again, in my opinion, you can disagree with me and that is fine. We can still be art buddies. I will think that you're not correct, but that's okay. I am joking. We really can. It is okay. I have no need to be in agreement with every person. For sure. This is not possible. But that is gorgeous. But how very different was it from the My Merry Blue PV15? So now we know why they call this Ultramarine Pink Dark. And Rob says, yeah, Want Monster fully engaged. Oh my goodness. Okay. And then Cadmium Red Feral Kitten says, you have chosen some really stunning colors. And these are, you know, I didn't, well, I mean, I chose to get them, but QoR chose to give us some beautiful new colors. And the question I had to come back to is, has anyone ever tried Winsor & Newton's granulation medium? I have some. I will be happy to show it to you. And apparently Sea Phoenix has just heard the Want Monster. If you are a super fan and you are over on our Discord server, you know that I use the GIF all the time from Looney Tunes, the big red, okay, I can't remember his name again, Joseph help me, the big red monster that Bugs Bunny like encounters over and over again. Anyways, I always use him to represent our Want Monster. Right. Gossamer. See, I'm like, why can I not ever remember it? Thank you to Joseph and Rob, who are always having to remind me what his name is. All right, let's see this Ultramarine Pink Dark in our wet wash. Ooh, it really just like pushed it. It pushed the water. It's not moving, like it is moving a little bit out here, but this is definitely, let's get some more water in this. This is definitely a granulator. So this is granulating. It is semi-opaque and it is semi-staining. Light fast is 1. So how beautiful would this color be for those of you who like to paint florals and want those floral paintings to have some pink purpley color that is actually going to stick around for the next 100 years. This is a beautiful, and it was not hard to re-wet that. This one has been dry in this pan for over a month. And that re-wet so easily. So yeah, I like that one. That is pretty. Gossamer is always hungry. Yeah, Heather says, and here I thought I had fed Gossamer already. Nope. Nope, nope, nope. That's beautiful. Oh, I forgot the salt. This is still wet. Let's get the salt on there. I don't know what that will do, but we will see. I am seeing granulation happening there. Yeah. The cadmium purple, definitely. I think I needed like a wet wash and a little less pigment. We would have seen more granulation there. But I am seeing it happening here. I'm liking that. All right, next up is for all of you who don't like granulation and you want a split primary palette, this is a color that I tend to recommend for a warm blue that doesn't granulate. And this is now available with QoR, and it is PB 15:0 Phthalo Blue Red shade. So much different than the Phthalo Blue green shade when you put them side by side. And, you know, it could be an option if you don't want to use ultramarine blue, or if you're painting something that you want a warm blue, but you don't want it to granulate. This one at first glance, this is not as warm as Daniel Smith's Phthalo Blue Red shade. I can tell you that just by first glance at this swatch. And I have my Daniel Smith one sitting right next to me, so I will show you what I mean. I won't just like randomly make the claim. So this is, I said transparent. It is phthalo. It is definitely staining. It is a phthalo color. It is going to stain. You're going to get this on your hands. You're going to look like a Smurf. And phthalos, yeah, phthalos take off. So I am expecting to see lots of action when we do our bigger swatch. Look at that. I have a lot of water there. Just going to take up a little bit of that water, just so we can see it kind of diluted. I know it's going to stain. Don't even have to worry about lifting that one. I know it's going to stain. Okay. So this is Phthalo Blue Red shade. Daniel Smith Phthalo Blue Red shade is right here. When I look at these side by side, they're close. They're close, but if you saw this swatched out more mass tone, this is pretty light. If you saw this swatched out more mass tone, you will see that it is definitely just a little bit warmer than this is. And if we look at that in relation to Phthalo Blue Green shade, so that's a Phthalo Blue Green shade, you see this is definitely much warmer. And I have it in QoR as well. So Phthalo Blue right here. So you see there's Phthalo Blue Green shade, PB 15:3, and here is PB 15:0, and that is the Phthalo Blue Red shade. So definitely warmer. And it is a phthalo, and it is definitely going to take off. Are you ready? And it is going to give you an amazing reaction with the salt. So if Laura's still with us, wait till you see this one. And there are just certain colors that I think work act and react so much better in salt than others. I think my water was already absorbing into my paper. It was not so wet because this color will absolutely take off. It takes off. It moves. Definitely moves. Look at that color. Beautiful though. It is a nice warm, what I should have done was shown it to you beside, and I will, ultramarine blue so that you can see. Okay, ready? We're gonna get the salt right on this one because it is absorbing into the paper quickly. Okay, that one should react. I want to say Indanthrone blue is another one that reacts really well. So ultramarine, and I have French ultramarine on mine, but you see the warmth, that's cerulean blue chromium. It's really once we get here. So it's like between that cerulean blue chromium, which is still more of a cool blue, as we get to the ultramarine, and that was my Indanthrone blue, which is definitely also a warm blue. You have Phthalo blue red shade. It's definitely one of your warmer blues. So, for sure. So Lily says, total beginner. No, next to nothing in watercolor. So since that blue took off like that, is that a color to choose for big backgrounds and skies? You know, it's just going to be a matter of your preference. If you're working a big background in a sky, you're working a very wet and wet wash to keep that going. And it's not going to, then, in my opinion, that doesn't matter. If you're working a nice wet wash, then that shouldn't matter. If that helps you, then sure, absolutely. I don't know if I answered your question well enough, but you just let me know. But definitely, I mean, it can help you because it's just going to kind of take off and move around. But if you learn how to apply a nice wet wash for your background to do a nice even wash, and again, it depends whether you want an even wash for your sky or if you want to like naturally let clouds just kind of paint themselves. This all depends on what you're looking for. So yeah. Okay. Know the number. The number for what? What are you looking for the number for? As far as like, what is the number for that color for core? If you're looking for like the color number, it is 7000585-1. Perhaps that is the number, series 1. It's just phthalo blue red shade. It's one of their brand new colors. If you click the link in the description, it will take you right to the page where all the core colors are, and it's going to say new, and they're listed alphabetically. So you're going to go to the P's for phthalo. Yep. So Lily, you're just going to phthalo blue, PHTHALO blue, red shade. Just remember red shade, because you'll see phthalo blue, and you're going to see phthalo blue. It's going to be there twice. You want red shade. 15:0 is the pigment. Okay, and here we go. The Payne's gray. This is the last one. It's like it took the whole stream just to get through these because, you know, I was hoping we were going to paint something with them. So maybe we'll paint something with them next time. Here is our Payne's gray. It's already starting. There's some stuff happening here, but not as much. Our big reactors so far for the salt have been the Benzie Burnt Orange and the Disazo Scarlet. Perylene Violet had a little bit with Perylene Crimson. Not as much with our Ultramarine. Let's get our Payne's Gray down here. And like I said, Payne's Gray was one that one really sunk in there. I can't wait to see this Payne's Gray. I will show you the regular Payne's Gray in comparison to this Payne's Gray. So, all my QoR fans out there, do you have new colors that you are like adding to your list? Drop me a comment and let me know what is your favorite color. So with all of these that are out here right now, those are all of the brand new single pigment colors by QoR. There are 11 brand new colors. Those are them. And now we're going to look at Payne's Gray Violet. So in its mass tone, you can see it looks almost black. We will see what kind of color shift we have. But right now, that looks black. And I'm definitely going to make it so that it is not as, so we can actually see what gray we get, okay? And so many times I've shown you guys how you can mix a lovely Payne's Gray with or a lovely gray with your ultramarine blue and your burnt sienna, whether it is a PBR7 or a PR101. This, however, and a lot of Payne's Grays are like 3 color mixes. Or excuse me, 3 pigment mixes. Not necessarily 3 color mixes, 3 pigment mixes. Ooh, look at that. It definitely pulls out, and I'm going to leave it that light. This will kind of mix on the border however it does, but I'm going to leave that just like that to see. Look at that Payne's Gray. We'll see it better on the big swatch. So it is opaque and it is staining. It is also a light fast 1. We'll also come back and look and see how this mass tone, what kind of shift we get as it dries. In fact, I'll set it. I'm going to set it right here so you guys can kind of keep your eye on it. Okay. This Payne's Gray I can see this finding its way into some of my skies for sure. Oh my goodness. A monochromatic with some, dare I say it, foggy, happy little trees. I'm like, I can see it happening. I can so see it happening. All right. Oh, see, yeah. Cadmium Red Feral Kitten says, that whole second row of colors catches my attention. Aren't those beautiful? They are gorgeous. I like this one too. The cadmium purple. It doesn't bother me to use cadmium colors. I like that one as well. All right, here we go. I just want to make sure that this is wet. I want to see how is this going to move, because I would definitely use this to paint some skies. Yes. Tara's like, no, not the trees. Oh, look at that. It's like, in its mass tone, we can definitely get so dark. I'm gonna rinse this out because I want to see the light now. I want to see the light side of this. It does not say that this is a granulating one. Right? It's got PBK 7, not 11. So it's should not be so granulating, as if it had PBK 11 in it, then that would make it granulating. If it had PB 29 in it. That would make it granulating, but it doesn't. It has PV, right? Our pigment violet right here, our Perylene violet. And did that not say? Yeah, no, it's not granulating. All right, let's get some salt on that one. Look at that gray. That is gorgeous. I'm gonna get some salt in here because, you know, I want to see how that does. Would it do like for snow in a winter snowy scene? I don't know. All right, so you can start to see some of that color shift. So here it's still very wet, but here it is starting to dry. We're getting a little bit of lightening. It's lightening up just a little bit. I think when we glaze over, though, that darkness would come right back. Yeah. See, can you see it there when I put that towards the light? You can see the color shift. So here how dark it is, and that's how much it's lightening up. Not too much. Still very dark. It's still very dark. Have a great rest of your day, Cat's Art Picks. Thanks for joining us. Look at those. Now with salt, you have to let it dry on its own. For this one I have to let set for a few minutes more. Let's look at, it doesn't really do a whole lot with our, let me brush the salt off. So when we brush the salt off of our umber, you see it kind of left the deposit where the salt crystals were. It left some deposit of color there. But it didn't give us like push away and give us that, you know, nice marks around where the salt was. Not as prominent as some colors will. So that was our umber. And I'm going to brush the salt off this first and second row. I just have a little waste bin right here beside me. Okay, so after brushing the salt off, there's no more salt on these. Look at what happens with the colors. So again, we already saw the umber. Naples yellow, not too strong of a reaction. The ISO yellow, that one a little bit more. It's isoine dolinone. Isoine dolinone yellow. I could say it just fine before the stream, and then it comes up in the stream, and I'm like, I got nothing. Pyrrole orange, see, smaller marks. Look at that Disazo Scarlet. That makes some really interesting marks there. And our Benzie burnt orange, that we could play with this with some landscape stuff, for sure. Love how it deposits the spots of the color where the salt crystals were, and then, you know, you get the light marks around them. So for Laura out there who asked, what does salt do? There you go, Laura. I'm going to brush this away. These aren't completely, like, they're not 100% dry, so these might have been a little bit more of an effect than they are now, but not by much. Not by much. But there you can see the ultramarine, pink dark, and the cadmium purple. I can't brush away the phthalo blue red shade yet. It definitely is not dry enough, and most certainly the Payne's gray isn't, but look at what's starting to happen. I think that could definitely give you some interesting mark making. So salt, yeah, almost all of these in one form or another definitely have a reaction with the salt. Not so much the brown umber, but I wasn't expecting that one too, really. Let's see. Yeah, that's almost absorbed into the paper. So definitely, I'm loving these colors. Our ultramarine pink dark. I'm going to zoom this back out. In fact, let's go. That is, we never went full on to the desk, but there's a different view for you. Not the one I was trying to pick. There we go. Okay. What do you guys think of the new core colors? I am so excited to have these. I'm just trying to kind of put them near their colors. Right? Our Pyrrole orange. The Disazo Scarlet. These are our two middle. Boom. There's our two middle colors. These are definitely like going to be favorites. I really like this yellow. Look at that. For a warm yellow that is not a multi-pigment yellow. That was one of the things that I did not like about the Daniel Smith. Like, if you got their, I want to say it was like their mixing set that came with like a split primary. It had like the 6 colors in it, and you got New Gamboge and Hansa Yellow Medium. Well, Hansa Yellow Medium is PY97. New Gamboge is PY97 and PY110. It's a multi-pigment to make up that warm yellow. This is a beautiful warm yellow. I could definitely see me using that for sure. For sure. And now I have to integrate these, which is the fun part. And that's what I'm going to be doing. So here's my core palette. This is where it is right now. Soon, these will be mixed in, and we'll see how many spaces I have left. Because I am considering grabbing some of those, what do you want to call it? The metallic ones. Yes, for sure. And look at this. I just want to show you guys. So this is Cadmium Purple, right? PR108. And I also have in here, this is Cad Red Medium, PR108. Look at the difference. So there is another example when I say, just knowing what color is in a mix is not enough to go. Because if you ordered PR108 and they use this to mix, and you ordered PR108, hey, it's Cad Red Medium. I'll just get that. I can mix my color. Those are two very different hues. They are not going to give you the same mix when you try to mix that color that you just love and you want to be able to mix yourself. And then sometimes, especially people new to watercolor, they go, well, I don't understand because I just can't do it. I can't mix it. You can mix it. You just can't mix it with that hue. So don't get discouraged. If a mix isn't working right for you, or even if you see one of my Monday Mix videos and I share with you the pigment that I'm mixing, always listen to what brand that I'm using, because that's going to be key also. Because that pigment may look different by that brand than it does with others. And I showed you that with the My Mary Blue, the PV15. Looks very different if you get PV15 Ultramarine Pink Dark in core, or if you get PV15 Ultramarine in My Mary Blue. They're not going to mix. They're not going to create the same new color when you mix them with other things if you have those two separate. I hope that all makes sense. And I hope that this kind of helps, especially people who are new to watercolor, see it is important to learn these pigments. And you don't have to sit there and be like, oh my gosh, I have to study pigments, right? Something I have to study now, or that I have to learn. Or whenever I do my swatches, I always write the color name and the pigment number. Just by writing the color name and the pigment number, you will start to learn them. You're just going to learn them without even studying. There will be no test. When I create my swatch cards now, that's why there's little spaces. This is the one for my new core palette once I have this set. Right here in this little spot, that's where I write what the pigment number is, right? So there's what pigments are in it. The name goes on the bottom, I put my pigments on the side. And then every time I'm painting, I usually have whatever swatch card. Do you guys, drop me a comment, do you use swatch cards in your palettes? So say this was my Daniel Smith palette. It's not. But that would be like this. When I got ready to paint, I would take this out, stand it up where I can see it, because then I just look at my swatch card and I know exactly what paints what. Now, once you paint with a palette for long enough, you're just going to learn, and you're going to be like, oh, just by looking at it, like, well, that is my cobalt turquoise. You know what I mean? Like, you're just going to know. Is that cobalt turquoise? I don't know. Like, I don't know. I just, yeah, it is. It's cobalt turquoise. You're just going to learn them. And when you're looking at your cards and your brain is seeing those numbers all the time, you're just going to learn the pigment numbers that go with certain colors. You'll see that my palettes are mostly single pigment colors. I have very few convenience mixes. I do have a few in my Daniel Smith palette, but my core palette, I think, is almost, there's very few. I couldn't say how many actually multi-pigment ones there are right now, but very few. And the reason being is because when you fill your palette with single pigment colors, the mixes that you create with those colors are going to be so much cleaner. You're going to have less chance of making mud, where you get too many colors in there and they start to look brown or gray, and you're not understanding why. Well, if you grabbed a red that was actually, if you grabbed a red that maybe had a little bit of, it was a warm red, but you didn't realize that that had a red pigment and a little bit of a yellow pigment in there, and say you mix that with blue and you were trying to make some kind of purple. Well, you just mixed red, yellow, and blue, and now you've mixed all three of those primary colors together. You're getting mud. And so if mixing is something, and that kind of color theory stuff, there was just a way that I heard it that really clicked and made it nice and easy for me. And if that's something you'd like a video on, drop me a comment and let me know, because I would be happy to explain it the way that I heard it, that just kind of made everything click. And now when I look at my colors, I can kind of look at them and go, that's not going to work, or, well, that might work. And I just love mixing colors and playing. I just love playing with watercolor. But yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this today. I hope that you are as excited about the new colors from QoR as I am. Which ones are going to be added to your QoR collection? Or is this getting you interested in starting a QoR collection? Because that could be too. I am like so excited about this Perylene Violet. I think this is going to be gorgeous. I just want to try some of those Steve Mitchell style spontaneous landscapes and pop that in it and see what I can do. I love that one. The PBR 25. So far in that mass tone, I'm seeing maybe at the top just a tiny bit. I wonder if I can get that to show up for you. I'm seeing a tiny bit of shine there. So I'd have to say, and that's where it, like, the extra pigment rolled to. So yeah, even in this one, is it going to show up? I'm trying to get it like reflecting off my light to see. I don't know if you guys are seeing that there. And if I bring it up closer, yeah, I don't know that it's showing up, but there, right here, there's just a little bit of a sheen to that. And that is very common to PBR 25. So the way to avoid that, layer it up more. Don't put down such a heavy mass tone, and you won't get that shine. Because you see down here, I mean, it is gorgeous. Down here, it's very matte, just what I would expect. But when you get more heavy in the mass tone, that's just a pigment that tends to shine. It has like that satiny sheen to it. So if that's something you don't want, just know PBR 25 across the board, almost every single brand I have and have tried it in is looking like that. So anyways, Rob says, I'll buy Naples Yellow Deep for 100. Yeah. It won't cost you that much, Rob. You don't have to spend that much. Check those out. The links are in the description. I am loving this little tiny palette. how cute is this? You guys can't see it because it was off screen as I filled it up, but look at that. And it has a little mixing lid. It's perfect. And this is one of the ones by Meeden. There is a link, and anything Meeden you get a discount from if you just use the code Clark10, CLARK10. That will give you a discount on anything you get directly from Meeden. I have not had any issues with them. I've been working a little bit more with them. In fact, I'm looking forward to bringing you some more products from them. And yes, some of the things they have given to me, but I definitely disclose all that to you as we share that. Like the tape that I showed you today that we used. Let's peel that tape and find out before we go how it worked. I'm going to brush off these last two before we do that. Okay. And normally I say heat your masking tape up before you peel it, but I'm not going to do that this time just because I want to see just without how this works. I will know right away if I need to heat it up, but it's coming off very cleanly. That's coming off very cleanly. I'm really curious up here because I really got into it on that one. Oh, no, I got to peel this one first. That's coming off nice and clean. It doesn't feel like it's pulling. Now, granted, we only had it on there for 2 hours. So if I left it on there longer, would that be different? I don't know. But if I felt a little tug or a little pull, I would just use, look at that. I was expecting that to be under more. Like, see, that one bled just a little bit. Still, I've shared with you guys my absolute favorite tape for making sure that these little bleeds don't happen has been the Holbein soft tape. That's probably one Holbein product that I'm like, yes, for sure. Yeah, that is coming off nice and clean. I was expecting that to be much more of a mess under there. So there you go. Let's just get that board out of the way. See, I even had cards. I had cards all ready to go. I was going to paint them. And now I guess I'll be doing that tomorrow. Speaking of tomorrow, if you are on the Discord server, I have live chat, community members and above. We have chat tomorrow. I will see you there. Look at those colors. And I love having them like this too, because it helps me like arrange like the order I would want them in on my palette. Which these are definitely, they would go this way. But look at that. Those are gorgeous colors. I'm so excited that QoR. Now I'm like, there are other QoR colors that I wanted, but when I saw the new colors, I was like, I've got to get them. I've got to get them. So yeah, that is the Meeden tape. It is really reasonable for 10 rolls. The link is in the description, and you will definitely get a discount order directly from them. You might want to hold up though. Let me just share this. For anybody who has or needs masking and is considering the Meeden tape, they have a multiple, like a variety pack that has different sizes. My contact at Meeden, because I looked and I'm like, hey, you used to have this variety pack. Where is it? I'm not finding it anywhere. He said it's been out of stock, but as soon as it's back in stock, he is going to send it to me so that I can share it with you guys. That is going to be, it has everything from like 1 inch to like really skinny, and you get 5 rolls. There are 5 different sizes. Whereas with this, you're getting 10 rolls. I picked the 3/4 inch size because he asked me what size I wanted. I picked 3/4 inch just because it works best for me. It was either that or I was going to go with the 1 inch. But I tend to like this size. So anyways, 10 rolls. I'll be putting some of these in giveaways when I do giveaway packs. Again, that's coming up soon, so make sure that you subscribe, ring the bell, all of that. If you enjoyed this video today, please do hit the like button. It definitely helps. It definitely helps. YouTube says, oh, maybe we should show this to some more people, and I appreciate you doing that. It's free. So yeah, so James, because you said I might get that tape, just something to consider. If you'd rather have a variety pack, maybe hold off a little bit, and I will absolutely let you know as soon as that's in stock. because he's going to send it to me as soon as it is. He said he's expecting it within the month to be back in stock. So there's that. Just a little bit of information. What's your favorite color? What is your favorite new color? And again, I did not get the interference colors, and I did not get the iridescent copper. The iridescent copper is definitely on my list. I think I'm going to get the metallics because I want them for my holiday card making, just to see. My favorite absolute metallics is the Calero or the Kuretake Gansai Tambi starry colors. Those are my favorite metallics so far. But we'll see. We'll see how these are once they come in. So yeah, if you haven't yet, hit that like button and subscribe. Join us. Normally every Thursday we are here painting, and you can paint along. I invite you all back again next week. I'm not quite sure what we're doing yet, but we will be painting something, and it will be next Thursday, 3 o'clock, same as this week. Thank you to all the patrons and members. You definitely help fund this channel, and I greatly appreciate you. I will see creator tiers and above for chat tomorrow over on Discord. If you were gifted a membership today, I encourage you, connect to Discord. That is one of your perks. You have it for the next month or longer if you decide to continue your membership. But if you really want to see what it's all about, join us over there on Discord. It is an app that you can download. On my community tab here on YouTube, I have a post that tells you exactly how you can get connected, Discord and YouTube. So just scroll. I don't think you have to scroll that far. Check that out. Yeah, until next time, thank you everyone for joining me. I'm gonna pop another video up right about there that you might like to watch next. Check out the moderators. Their channels are listed in the description below. I will see members for chat tomorrow. Have a great rest of your day, everybody. I hope you enjoyed the new core colors. Bye, guys.